What's up, America? How y'all doing? It's your boy J Nev coming to you live on a Sunday afternoon. I'm not in a good mood, America. I'm gonna just keep it real with y'all. This is the last word. I like to keep it real. We try to that tries to be our slogan. We try to make that our slogan for each and every show. Take it beyond our fandom, what we see as a fan, and try to apply more than just what we see as a fan to the show. But I ain't gonna lie, y'all. Today the emotions finna fly. I was cycling through my phone earlier and I saw breaking news that my boy, my coach Les Miles, was fired, terminated, sliced, diced, 86, the out of there, gone. They rid of him, and if you haven't figured it out by now, that I've always been an avid Les Miles fan. I actually met him when I was in high school. For a football camp. We went up to LSU for a 7-on-7, and I got to meet him. And ever since that day, I was pretty much hooked on his abilities as a coach, as a motivator, and as a man. Because sports is a lot bigger than wins and losses. I know as an American culture and society, we tend to make them as such. And I get it. Nobody likes to lose. I don't like to lose. I don't like to lose at anything. But it comes a point where other things have to be put in their perspective, and that includes winning. But without further ado, let's get into the meat of this. I'm gonna warn y'all right now. A lot of people probably not gonna like what I'm fixing to say, because, like I said, I've always been a Les Miles supporter, and I learned over the last few years that there aren't many Les Miles supporters around. So a lot of people been wanting them to get fired. And so a lot of people are probably rejoicing right now. Unfortunately, I'm not one of them people. So if you are, then I would suggest you turn this thing off right now, because I'm probably going to rain on your little parade. But without further ado, let's get started. Anytime anybody loses a job, it's always a tough thing. I don't care if it is sports. I don't care if it's work. We all have to pay bills, especially if we're adults. Still living with your mom and daddy, you might not understand that right now, but you're going to understand that one day when you get out there on your own, have to support and take care of a family. Bills need to be paid on time, or they start cutting stuff off. They start taking stuff away. Then you can't do nothing. Can't support your family. Your wife leave you. I don't have a wife, so I don't have to deal with that right now. But y'all get what I'm trying to say. All the grown folks out there, say amen. But so back to my point, I always thought that somebody was supposed to get fired if they weren't doing a very good job, and that manifests itself in many different ways. We all know in sports, usually if a team is not winning, the first person that usually gets blamed is the head coach, because he's supposed to be responsible for the team winning or losing. Although that's very debatable, and I can sit up here and debate that all day, we have a strange case where a coach was very much a winner in the regard of his win-loss record, and he was still yet terminated. And I can't seem to wrap my head around the fact of how is that logically possible. But if you want some explanation, here we go. Les Miles' record at LSU was 114-34. That rounds out to be about 77% winning. That's about, he came in 2005. It's 2016, if I'm not mistaken. So this was his 11th season or 12th season, depending on how you look at it. He won a national championship, made 2 appearances. We're not going to talk about that catastrophe that happened back in 2011-2012 season. 2 SEC championships, 1 Coach of the Year award, numerous coaching records at LSU, and as I just touched on, this was all right over the span of 10 years. Now, like I said earlier, I'm not the smartest man in the world, but I would love to sit down and have someone explain to me, how do you fire a guy who's won 77% of his games if the point of playing and participating in sports is to win, and you win 77% of your games? How is that not a good thing? I'll pause to give people time to ponder that and react, and then I'll resume my here. Okay. By now, you either figured out that 77%, winning 7% of your games is a good thing, or you just don't want to see it. So I'll move along from that point. But, the guys won a lot of games. That's my point. I know I may sound silly, and I am being sarcastic, and I am exaggerating a little bit to make a point. But I don't see how you can fire a guy for winning so many games over that amount of time. Unless, of course, you're just not appreciating it. Which brings me to my next point. Oftentimes in life, we don't get the best out of our lives because we're too busy worrying about what other people have. We don't take the time to look and see what we should be thankful for in our own life. Well, Josh, what are you talking about? I'm talking about Alabama. To me, in honesty, I believe a lot of this stems from people constantly, the fan base, and it even, spewed over into athletic director and people of the high powers in the Department of LSU, athletics boosters, et cetera, that they see what Alabama has done over the past few years, and they expect LSU to be doing the same. Well, newsflash, LSU is not Alabama. Now, if you know me personally, you know how much I can't stand Alabama. But I'm not going to sit up here and debate and negate someone who wins. Alabama has won 16 national championships throughout their decorated history in college football. LSU has won 3. Now, unless you're some kind of masochist, why would you compare yourself to that type of resume when you know good and well the way you're going to compete with that on a overall scale? Now, I'm not defending LSU for losing the last 5 games to Alabama. That's not what I'm saying. So please do not twist my words up. But clearly, you get the gist. When did we as fans, I shouldn't say we because I'm going to say y'all because it ain't me. How in such a short amount of time the expectations got so high to where we expect to contend with that type of team that has that type of tradition in such a short amount of time? I'm really not understanding that. Okay, yeah, we did beat Alabama a couple of times, especially when Nick Saban went over there, and then we lost to him a couple of times. So what? Why is that such a big deal? I don't get it. Why do they have to be the measuring stick all the time? Why can't we just say, hey, we tried to beat them, we didn't beat them, we'll try again next year, especially when our coaches won 114 games. And it's not like they was blowing us out every time. I looked it up. 7 of the last 10 games that were played between LSU and Alabama, Nick Saban and Les Miles were both head coaches for their respective teams during those games. 7 out of 10 games were decided by 10 points or less. So that means we were in the game at some point, but we just didn't pull it out for the ones that we, lost. However, let me circle back around to Les Miles and get him more involved because ultimately this is about him. Les Miles is 3-7 against Alabama in his career up to this point and during his tenure at LSU, which would mean he's beat Nick Saban 3 times. Now, I went and tried to Google coaching records against Nick Saban, and I couldn't really get a lot of data, but there was only one other coach that I found that beat Nick Saban that same amount of times or close, or multiple times for that matter, and that was Urban Meyer. So you got Les Miles and Urban Meyer. Urban Meyers, from my knowledge, are the only 2 to beat Nick Saban multiple times. Now, there may be some others, and I might have glossed over somebody, so I'm not finna act like I'm the ultimate statistician. My catalog is pretty thin, to be honest, so I took the time to try to find what I could, but that's what I found. So who are you going to replace that type of success with? Well, Urban Meyer's at Ohio State. last time I checked. So he ain't coming down to Baton Rouge no time soon. So who you got to fill in for Les Miles? The only other guy that we know of as of right now that has contended with Alabama over the past few years, who's made it even close. Ed Orgeron, no offense, no disrespect to him, but we got to find out what this brother track record is first. And I don't know any other marketable coaches out there. Art Browse, well, he's got some off the field issues. Bobby Petrino, same thing, off the field issues. So last time I checked, Les Miles didn't have no off the field issues. He was as clear cut as they come for the most part. So where are we going to replace this type of success with? Or who, should I say, not where. Any of you guys can coach out there? I love to see you try. And let me stop before I offend somebody here. I can feel it. I can feel the audience. I can feel y'all's aura coming at me. Stop making a fuss at me, man. We just needed a new offense, man. I'm just tired of seeing this, the clock management, all of this. All right, well, whatever. Look, man. Far as the offense, I don't think the offense was that bad, in my opinion. Yeah, I wish they would have thrown it a little bit more, but the way LSU has always been built traditionally was run first anyway. I don't recall too many top flight quarterbacks coming out of LSU and having major success as a supreme pocket passer in the NFL. I don't know. The only one that I know that was ever drafted first overall was Jamarcus Russell. Now, there may be somebody way down the list, but we saw how Jamarcus Russell's career turned out. So is that what we really expect at LSU? A supreme high-flying Air Coryell offense where we throw it 50 times a game? That has never been a tradition at LSU. That's never really been a tradition of anybody in the SEC, with the exception that I can remember of is Steve Spurrier. And I was really, really young when they was throwing it around. So I have been hard-pressed to find anybody who's chugged it around like that. In the SEC anyways. You want to go watch that much passing, man? Go watch the Big 12. Go watch Oklahoma. Go watch Baylor. That's what they do. That's not what LSU has been known to do. Now, that doesn't excuse the ineptitude of the passing game. But when you look at it from that perspective, we've always had good running backs. You don't really need to throw the ball that much if you got good running backs. You just need to mix it in. Mix the passing, and I thought they done it when the players executed the plays properly. I've never been one to blame the coach for the execution of the players. I guess because I played, that's one thing that always kind of made me frustrated about sports is when a guy misses a block or a guy drops a pass, it's somehow the coach's fault. I don't understand that. I don't understand that type of mentality. When I went out there, if I dropped a pass, it was on me. I wouldn't finna go up there and blame my coach for the play call. I wasn't finna blame him for not having me ready to play. Look, if I dropped the pass, that's on me, god doggone it. It ain't on the coach. So sometimes the execution isn't there for whatever reason. Sometimes it's the coach's fault. Sometimes it isn't. But once again, when you done won 114 games and lost 34, I don't know how much drop passes and missed blocking assignments. It's the coach's fault. That's just me. The clock management, well, I'll give you that one. That should be something that's practiced. That should be something that's rehearsed. So you got me. I'm a giving person. I'm not going to fuss at you the whole time. I'll give you that one. I'm not going to even try to argue that one because it would seem silly at this point. You got to have your boys ready for all situations of the ball game, and that does include clock management. However, that one little blip does not or should not determine a guy's future who has 2 years left on his contract and you don't really have a solid backup plan to replace him at the moment. That just makes no sense. So I say all that to say, when I first saw this, it reminded me, well, I'm going to go back a little bit. First of all, there's been rumblings for Les Miles to be fired for years and years. I already said that. But every time I heard that, it reminded me of the Dallas Cowboys and how they prematurely, in my opinion, got rid of Jimmy Johnson after they had won 2 Super Bowls. And no offense to Cowboy Nation out there, but what have the Cowboys done ever since? I'll pause on that one too. That's what I thought. Nothing. Oh, they did win one with Barry Switzer, but that was pretty much with the team that Jimmy Johnson had put together. But after they ran Jimmy Johnson out of there, the Cowboys ain't been nothing since. And that's been since 1995. That's over 20 years ago. So Tiger Faithful, Tiger Nation, the coach gone. You got him out of there. So now what? You really want to watch LSU be bad for the next 10, 20 years? Do you really want that? Is that what you really, really wanted out of this? Or can you honestly say let me not say we again, y'all may have overreacted just a little bit. Now, I was planning to go catch some LSU football this year. I was honestly hoping they wouldn't start off to a 2-2 start. I didn't see that coming. I'm not going to act like I did. But, 2-2, it's still early. But now that the coach is gone, I'm going to be honest with y'all. I'm not even really interested in LSU football no more for the rest of the season. I don't think I'm going to watch another game. I don't think I'm going to go to a game. I was planning on going to the Bama game. But after what I witnessed on my cellular phone today, reading the different articles and reading different people's takes upon it and different fans' takes upon it, it just left a bad taste in my mouth. For me to watch and continue to watch would be to support that decision of firing Les Miles, which I clearly do not. And to support it would obviously be to agree with it, which I clearly do not either. So I'm not going to watch. I'm not going to listen. And I'm going to try not to talk about it. Because I'm through with that decision. I mean, man, and to think this man had several chances to leave town. Michigan calling him and begging him to come up there and come up there and come up there. And us, Louisiana folk, just don't know how good we got it till it's gone. Instead of 10-win seasons, we rather risk having 5-win seasons and 6-win seasons because our LSU team was so talented. Which brings me to another point. You know what? When I looked at this team on paper, I thought they were pretty talented too. But after watching them a few games, they're not as talented as you would think they would be on paper. I was talking to one of my boys earlier about it, and he was laughing at me because I kind of was hollering in his ear over the phone. But when I really think about it, other than Leonard Fournette and my boy Jamal Adams, Kendall Beckwith, Arden Key, Tre'Davious White, Darius Geis, who is really that talented? And please don't say Malachi Dupree, because this dude cannot catch. Man, he can't catch a cold in the wintertime, soaking wet, naked. He can't, man. I done watched this dude drop so many passes this year till it's not even funny. He shouldn't even be starting. Which now that I think about it, I think they did put in Chark. So, but anyway, other than those guys I just named, that's just about 6 people. Other than that, who's really that talented on that football team? Who is really that talented? I was watching Alabama play a few weeks ago. Yes, I do watch Alabama. I do believe in scouting the competition. Maybe I should be LSU's coach. But anyway, and one of the color commentator, I can't remember the guy's exact name, but he stated that Alabama's roster currently contains 80% of their guys are 5-star recruits. 80%. 80%. Not 8. Not 25. Not 75. Not 52. Not 67. 80%. And I went to thinking, my goodness, who's gonna contend with that? LSU? LSU ain't got 80% of their boys ain't 5-star recruits. Now they do have some good players, and I'm not trying to make them sound like they are bad. They don't have no talent. They do have some talent, but I'm just saying 80% of their players aren't 5-star recruits. I'm sorry. That can't be true. So, is it possible that LSU was overrated coming into the season? And maybe lofty and unfair expectations were put on the team? I know nobody who listening to this going to admit that because they all in their feelings right now. But hey, it's something to think about. It's something to think about. Well, America, I felt like I've said enough. I don't really want to talk about this anymore because I'm afraid I'm going to say something I ain't got no business saying. I'm going to hurt somebody's feelings. And that's not my intent. I love sports. I'm very passionate about sports. But I do believe, as a guy who's freelancing, I got to keep it real. I can't be filtered by what ESPN or the SEC Network, Fox Sports Net, and all these other, media outlets. I can't be influenced by what they're saying. I have to go by what I see. And I do a lot of research, guys. I don't just pull this stuff out of the air. I do my research. I do my research. So you can bet that and I'm going to keep it as real as I can. I'm about as passionate as it comes when it comes to LSU. But like I said, I won't be watching. I probably won't be watching the rest of this year, and I'll try to start back next season. So if y'all get some free time and y'all catch me, y'all just tell me how the game's going, man, because I ain't going to be paying attention. It was fun talking to y'all. Thank y'all for putting up with me today, and I'll catch y'all around next time. Peace out.